season of Lent, for those of you who attended the Bible study last Sunday, you were able to know and understand the connections and the lessons of our three readings today. But let me focus only our reflection on the Gospel reading from Mark about the temptation of Jesus. In the Gospel of Matthew and Luke, you can read the more elaborate and detailed story of the temptation, of how the devil presented different temptations to Jesus and how he reacted. But in the version that we heard today from the Gospel of Mark, it is very short. There are no details. Mark only says the Spirit drove Jesus out into the desert, and he remained in the desert for 40 days, tempted by Satan. He was among wild beasts, and the angels ministered to him. But what does this reading teach us about Lent? I think it's very important to reflect about how we deal and how we experience temptations. Dealing with temptations is a daily struggle. I think you agree with me. I don't know with you, but for me, it is really an everyday struggle. If you are not struggling with temptations, I think you are already a saint. You are already holy. Pupunta ka na ng langit, sigurado. You would ask me, Father, we are curious what kind of temptations you are experiencing. If I tell you, ano na yung chismis na yun? Baka chismis nyo. Alam ko yung mga ni Father, tukso niya. But if I would, to be honest with you, I would say, it's just the same regular temptations that you also experience. Like, for example, not giving in to laziness, or not becoming too materialistic, that's another, or not being too judgmental, or entertaining gossip. But I think that is not the most important question, what kind of temptations you experience. A more important question, I think, is how do I feel and how do I react when I experience temptations? Let me describe it to you. Normally, there is a confusing feeling inside me which says, why is this wrong? When it feels so right. Hindi po yung lyrics ng kanta, no? Sa Tagalog, bakit mali ito? Kung ang pakiramdam ko ay tama. O, di ba? Why is this wrong when it feels it is fun and enjoyable? Bakit mali ito? Okay naman eh. Masaya naman, enjoy naman eh. St. Paul, in his letter to the Romans, shares the same experience. He says, I don't really understand myself because I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what is wrong. Or one comedian said, when temptation is hard to resist, just enjoy and relax. is clear is that it is possible to overcome temptations. It is possible for us to become better persons. We can be better. We can control our lower desires and lower instincts. One of my favorite things to do in my free time is to watch documentaries in YouTube. Pero medyo babawasan ko kayong Lent, syempre. Kasi nakaka-addict. Pero among the documentaries I've already watched it's about addictions. All kinds of addictions. There is the one I watch about addiction to sex, addiction to alcohol, addiction to drugs, to gambling, and to computer games. These are all different kinds of addictions. And you know, it all started with a try. I will try it. Then it feels fun and enjoyable. It becomes relaxed and enjoy it. And then more and more and more until it becomes so addictive that a person cannot anymore live without it. And in these documentaries, I have seen how miserable are the lives of people who have addictions, whether it be drugs or gambling or pornography or sex or alcohol. It's not relax and enjoy. Because in the end, they have a very low quality of life. All the people I've seen in these documentaries, they have very low quality of life. For example, they look older than their age. Their family is a disaster, chaotic. They don't have friends. They get sick often, and almost every day they wake up feeling depressed. Seeing these documentaries, I realize, and it has taught me, Jesus is right. He is correct. We have to follow His advice. We have to fight temptations. We have to resist them. If there is one thing we can learn today for our 40 days journey to Lent, it is this. The Lord is calling us to a higher quality of life, to a higher standard of life. The devil, on the other hand, is calling us to a lower standard of life, to a lower quality of life. We can choose. We can decide. Finally, I just finished reading a book written by a Benedictine monk. His name is Father Agustin Veta. And the title of his book is Saint Benedict's 12-Step Guide to Humility. Father Augustine has this experience when one day he was teaching high school students, and one of the students said, "Father, there is no such thing as sin." And before Father Augustine could answer the student, another student at the back shouted in a loud voice, "So, you're smarter and wiser than Jesus? And the following day, the same student raised his hand. He stood in front and said, I know what you all guys, what you are doing on weekend. You are no better than anyone else. Alam ko naman yung mga ginagawa nyo Sabado-Linggo eh. Hindi kayo mas mabait, mas mabuti sa iba. You also drink a lot. You are not better than anyone else. And then he said, at least, I am being true to myself. At least nagpapakatotoo ako. Sounds familiar? And Father Agustin Veta had this realization. He said in his book, there is a part of me that admires this kid. Being true to oneself is very courageous. It is very admirable. But the problem is, this kid does not also know his condition. If you want to do something really courageous and admirable, try being true to someone better than yourself, like Jesus. Kung gusto mong magpakatotoo ka kumpara sa mas mahusay kaysa sa iyo at mas mabuti kaysa sa iyo. I know Father Agustin was right, because those people with addictions that I saw in the documentaries that I watched, they just tried to be true to themselves, and they ended up consumed by sin and misery. If we want to be true to ourselves, let us be true to Jesus. And so, let us reflect for a moment. How do I face temptations